Hello. Today a short video on what delusion and ignorance actually mean. People call themselves or others deluded or ignorant or dumb all the time, but they rarely, clarify what they actually mean by that. However, the concept of delusion is, from a neurological perspective, actually a quite interesting one, and we will analyze why practically everyone lives in an illusion or delusion. Okay, but let's now come to a short slide that I prepared just to remind you how human learning works. As we can see in this figure, we have objects that are distributed somewhere in our reality, like trees or houses or persons or pretty much anything that is out there. And once one of our sensory organs, aka the eye, the ears, the skin, the tongue, the nose, and sometimes even the mind, comes in contact with those objects, a mental model is created. And those mental models are incorporated into a big cloud of other mental models in the human mind. AKA, it gets associated with other things that are like the thing that we perceive. This tree, for example, might be small, might be an oak tree, might be boring and part of a forest. Further, we also attach valuations to the perceived object. It might be completely neutral, and we might even ignore it. It might be slightly positive, since we like nature, or it might even be boring when we have grown up in the city or something like that. But the thing is, whenever we perceive something, again in the future, there's always this mental model that gets triggered. We do not see the objects that are around us. It is much more common that we just see the mental models that are created in our mind that are triggered by the perception of the objects around us. Okay, but let's now come to an even better example how to illustrate delusions. For example, in this picture, we can illustrate this point quite good. This here is a picture in which two things are depicted. Depending on the concepts that are in your mind, one or the other is more dominant. And as we can see here in the middle, there is either a vessel, for example, a chalice or another drinking device. And to the left and to the right, there are either two faces that are about to kiss. And in the middle, a vase. The interesting part now is that we can only see one or the other. We cannot perceive both at once. And this shows us that we always just see the concept in our minds and not what is actually in front of us. And this is what we call delusion, illusion, or ignorance. AKA, we cannot see the entirety of the things that are around us because our vision is colored by the concepts that we already know and that are deeply ingrained into our minds. The more often we have seen something, the more, unlikely it is that we can actually break through this kind of delusion and just see what is displayed there. Some kind of black area, some kind of white area, and not the icons of two faces or a chalice. Okay, but let's now come to a short summary. What are the takeaway points of this video? First of all, the process of delusion is an active one. It is something the brain has to do all the time, without pause, with every moment of perception. And the sensory organs always see everything. We always have the entire picture that is imprinted through our eyes or through our other sensory organs. But the brain transforms and filters the input data according to the mental models or concepts that are already in our mind. And ignorance is a special kind of delusion, as in it just removes information from the input data. Certain things are so insignificant and so boring to us that we just remove them altogether and can't even see them or actively perceive them. And humans, in summary, automatically think in concepts, and concepts do not actually display reality. Thus, most people are actually, in fact, deluded in some way or another, especially when it comes to the very basic transformations and filters the brain applies to every input. For example, things like continuity. And in reality, we only perceive one frame of reality after another. But our brain makes us think that everything is a continuous process, for example, while the eye can only supply like 30 images per second and not more. Okay, and that's pretty much it for today. I hope you learned something and understood the concept of delusion, illusion, or ignorance better than before. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, give this video a like or a thumbs up or whatever. And if you feel like I missed something, feel free to let me know in the comment section. And until then, I wish you a pleasant day and goodbye.